So here we go. First live streamed draft. We've got a 3-color rare. Now they do bring back the dual-colored common non-basic lands in this set, so there's a good amount of random land mana fixing to be able to splash these kind of cards. I don't know if I'd still like pick one, pack one this. It is a 4-mana 4/4 flying trample, but the requirement of having to be splashing a 3rd color is a bit hard, especially on a first pick. Being tied into 3 colors, 1 pick into the draft is a bit rough. That being said, still pretty new to the format. We can kind of just play around with the fun rares at this point, nice and early on. Thanks for the good luck, Angrin. And yeah, this pack doesn't seem wildly powerful. There's a really good green common here, the Jukai Preserver, a really good red common, the Voltage Surge, for cheap removal or a cheap efficient like 4-mana 4/4 creature with a backup plan, which is nice. And then Futures Operative is probably the best uncommon. I think I'm just going to slam the rare here like a big dork and just see if we can end up in blue-white or red-white or, you know, any combination within there. Blue-red. Explosive Singularity. This card, I have no idea how to value this card. It's kind of weird. So it's 10 mana to deal 10 damage to any target, but you can convoke your creatures to cast it. So you tap any number of creatures to help pay for the cost. So if you have 4 creatures on board, then it still costs 6 mana for 10 damage, and 10 creatures is a lot. That being said, the first draft I did in this format, there was a lot of random little token creatures, a lot of somewhat cluttered boards, so I feel like you could try to get there with Explosive Singularity, especially if we start with Hanada, which makes our spells cheaper. We're already looking to be in red, potentially. I don't know, it's another big dorky mythic rare. So it's a card I'd like to try out, regardless, especially early in the format, because you just get less opportunities to play with the rares and mythics than all the commons and uncommons. So we gotta get some experience with these cards while we can, just whenever they pop up. So now do we have some solid blue uncommons, it looks like. Replication Specialist, 5 mana for a 3/4 flyer. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under control, you can pay 2 mana to make a token of it. Permanently? 5 mana is a lot, but then turn 6 you can play a 4-mana artifact and make a permanent copy of it. That seems really good. There's a lot of artifact creatures in the format. The Futurist Operative, it's like a ninjutsu trick. It also gets in by itself because you untap it when it's attacking in unblocked, which is cool. So like a 3/4 unblockable if you hold up the 3 mana. Hey Sudoku, how's it going? Know nothing about the set yet, teach me the ways. It's a wild set, super complex set, a lot of really large text boxes, so I'm still not super familiar yet, but I'm excited to learn today. Moon Circuit Hacker is really cool, really nice ninjutsu ability. If you ninjutsu this in, then you get to draw a card as well. Ninjutsu means you return an unblocked attacker and replace it with that card. I think I am going to take Replication Specialist. I'm just going to keep taking the high rarity, kind of explosive looking cards and see what we can do off of those. Hey Flagrance, how's it going? Just got decimated in draft, so here I am to learn. We're all still learning the format. It is day 1, even like the #1 mythic drafter is still going to be learning at this point. And I'm certainly nowhere near that level. I like Rabbit Battery a lot. This card seems really good. The reconfigure on it is just sick. 1 mana, 1/1 haste to chip in for early damage, and then basically every creature you play from that point on has a kicker cost of 1 to turn into a +1/+1 haste. So, like if you just think about this on literally like any creature in the game, just add +1/+1 haste for 1 mana to it, and that's usually a good deal. Like a 5 mana 4/4 Vigilance or a 6 mana 5/5 Vigilance haste, like pretty sick. I really like Rabbit Battery. So far, it's Jeskai uncastable. That's true. So far, our deck is just Jeskai really hard to cast, super expensive cards. There's a blue-black dual land that doesn't help with our Jeskai card. We have Heiko Yamazaki, a 4 mana 3/3 trample. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast an artifact from your graveyard this turn. Really good value if you go for a lot of artifacts. Our Replication Specialist already wants that, and that's kind of the red-blue mechanic in the set, is just a ton of artifact cards. So that could combo well if we go blue-red as the core. However, Sunblade Samurai is just a good good deal also in general. 5 mana for a 4/4 Vigilance, and you have a backup plan to channel this, spend 2, discard it, and grab a Plains. So if you don't have enough mana, then you can get mana off this card, and if you do, you're slamming down a 4/4 Vigilance. Really like the cards like this. Really, really like the channel creatures that are like a big creature or like a smaller channel effect. I'm a super big fan of those cards because they get rid of the whole downside of running a lot of big 5 and 6 mana creatures in your deck, where sometimes you draw them and don't have the mana for them. With those cards, you're always doing something with them, which is really nice. There's a lot of green in this pack. Maybe green is quite open here. I think Jukai Preserver and Careful Cultivation are going to be really good commons in this format. The Preserver, a 4 mana 4/4, because it's a 3/3 and you put a counter on something. Or you can channel it, so 3 mana, discard it at instant speed, put a +1/+1 counter on 2 target creatures. So it's 1, like, super good creature for the cost, or a combat trick that puts a counter on 2 of your creatures. And then there's also Careful Cultivation. You can disregard all the early text on Careful Cultivation. This is a card that you can just spend 2 mana and discard it to make a 1/1 that taps for green. So it's basically a 2 mana Llanowar Elf, a 2 mana 1/1 that taps for green, that you can play at instant speed, and it's an ability, not a spell, so it can't be countered by regular counter spells. So Careful Cultivation, a whole ton of text, basically a 2 mana 1/1 tap for green Human Monk. So that's one of the things I'm noticing a lot about the set. A lot of the cards, because of abilities like Channel and Reconfigure and stuff, have just a boatload of text. So it's really important to like see the cards a few times so that you know kind of the gist of the card and you can kind of simplify them for yourself, because otherwise this is the wordiest set of all time. Like literally, if you look it up. I think green is pretty open here. We're seeing a lot of solid green stuff get passed around, and we're seeing it again here. Master's Rebuke is going to be the premier green common removal spell. It's a 2 mana instant. Have a creature you control deal damage equal to its power to a creature or planeswalker you don't control. So it's just the green bite kind of spell where your creature sends its power somewhere else. So like Master's Rebuke here. Careful Cultivation, again, good. That 1/1 monk to help get your big green cards out. But Master's Rebuke's going to be something green's missing out on more. So I'm definitely moving into green because it seems to be one of the most open colors here. So we're probably not playing Hinata. Hey Rivok, how's it going? Kamigawa is treating me pretty well so far. The only draft I've done is the one that's on the channel, but that draft went pretty well. I don't really want to spoil too much, but it was a good draft, I would say. We have powerful red cards. We could maybe take a Dragon Spark Reactor, although you need a ton of artifacts for this to work well. Otherwise, it's pretty slow, and green does not have a lot of artifacts. Green has a lot of enchantments. So I feel like these red cards aren't super good with green cards, so I'm just going to take the Wanderer's Intervention, maybe push to green-white here. Could be green-white, could be green-red, but I think we're definitely moving towards green. Now, Gift of Wrath is a fine aura. +2/+2 and Menace turns anything into a really big threat, and this gives you that backup plan where if your card gets blown up, you don't lose everything. You still get a 2/2 Menace, which is cool. But I also like Fade into Antiquity. There are a ton of really good artifacts and enchantments. There's sagas, there's vehicles, and there's a ton of just enchantment creatures, as you can see here, a ton of artifact creatures, as you can see here. I feel like Fade into Antiquity is just a main deckable, straight-up removal spell now. I don't think we're playing anything here. Although we're seeing good blue cards still. Tamio's Completion and Futurist Operative seem solid to me. The Completion is an instant speed removal spell. So that seems nice and late for that. Revokes 4 and 6 across 2 drafts. The set is so dang fun. Yeah, the set looks really cool. I had a ton of fun in the first draft, and I'm planning on having a bunch of fun here. So this Harmonious Emergence, once again, one of these cards that's a giant wall of text that's super hard to parse the first time you see it. This is basically a 5 mana 4/5 Vigilance Haste, because you attach this to one of your lands. So if you have to wait till you have 5 mana so you can put it on an untapped land. And then if that land ever dies, instead you just sacrifice the enchantment. So your land will stick around if it gets killed. Really interesting card. I really like Rabbit Battery, especially for green-red. I think that's going to be really good, so I'm going to take another one here. Sudoku, what kind of green strategies are there in the set? Okay, so in green, you have green-white, which cares about enchantments. There are a lot of cards that'll make your enchantments cheaper, or that will trigger when enchantments enter the battlefield and stuff like that. Green-red is focused on modified. As you can see here, this card says If you control a modified creature, draw a card. Modified means if your creature has equipment, auras, or counters on it. So green-red is kind of about little reconfigure creatures like the rabbit battery, some auras in green to slap onto your creatures. It's about taking your creatures, making them big in some way, modifying them, putting plus and plus one counters on them, and then getting some extra abilities that'll trigger off that. Green-black just has like graveyard recursion like usual. Green-blue is ramp. Green-blue is where you get just really big. I'm going to play a 5/7 crab. And then I think that's all the color pairs. Green-white, green-red, green-black, and green-blue. Yeah. Those are the 4 green color pairs. I like Uncharted Haven, mana fixing for any deck. Although Boon of Bosiju doesn't look like that bad of a combat trick. 2 mana, untap a creature, get it +X/+X till end of turn, where X is the greatest mana value among permanents you control. By the time you cast this, you're at least using it on a 2 mana 2/2. So +2/+2, untap a creature. That was a playable combat trick in formats before, and this could do a lot more than that if you put it on like a 5/5 or something. So that could be interesting. Don't know if I want to take it this highly. Geothermal Kami is really good if you have enchantments with enter the battlefield effects, but I don't think we do. I guess we have Jukai Preserver, but that would cost like a boatload of mana. So now, another Jukai Preserver. I think I'm happy to take that, although now we need to move to our green-red deck and see what our curve looks like and start actually building a deck rather than drafting good cards. It's important to start doing that at some points. 2 great 1-drop rabbit batteries. We definitely need 2 mana creatures and 3 mana creatures. We just need creatures in general. We don't have a lot of them. I guess it's early enough in the draft to take Jukai Preserver over the Song Shaper because it's just a better card in general, or over the Jukai Trainee, although we are really going to need some like 2 mana creatures sometime soon. There will definitely come a point where I take cards like Jukai Trainee over the Preserver, and that point's going to get sometime soon. Revoke already burned most of the wild cards on a Ninjutsu Brawl deck. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. Definitely sounds like it was worth it. Uh-oh. Get cut off of red here. And I guess the only thing that we really are is green, because our good red cards are double rabbit battery that we took early and an explosive singularity we took early. So maybe push to green-white enchantments instead. We have a couple good white cards and 3 good red cards. So we're not married to red. We also have a couple good blue cards. But yeah, I think Spirited Companion, one of the good white cards, especially for green-white. Just a 2 mana 1/1 enchantment creature, enters battlefield, draw a card. Just replaces itself quickly, and anything you have in the color pair that cares about enchantments is going to benefit off of that. Take a Jukai Trainee. That pick was really easy, the only card in green, red, or white. And we were looking for some cheap green creatures. Yeah, I guess the red's all going away now. Now it's just a Gift of Wrath, and that's it. Whereas in white, we have a really good Blade Blizzard Kitsune. This has double strike. A 3 mana 2/2 double striker is just straight up gas. It doesn't even need ninjutsu to be good. And we're probably not going to ninjutsu it that often. Can we expect some sealed videos coming up? For sure. I don't know when exactly, but I'll definitely do at least a few of them as usual. I think tomorrow's video is probably just going to be another draft, so I can just edit together one of the fun drafts from tonight and upload that tomorrow. But then I'll do sealed the day after that. Do like a pre-recorded sealed probably. Think you need to do sealed just to have time to read all the cards? For sure. That is the best way. If you haven't read the cards yet, you have to hop into sealed, especially in this format. It's wild. I'm going to take Ninja's Kunai here, since it's removal, whatever color pair we end up in. It's not great removal, it only does 3 damage, and you have to tap a creature to do it, but I'm still not 100% confident in my second color. These cards all look pretty weak. Although Favor of Jukai is interesting. 2 mana instant speed, +3/+3 reach till end of turn, and it's an ability, so it can't be countered easily. And then, if you don't need a combat trick, just 4 mana to give something permanently +3/+3. Could be a thing. Take Favor of Jukai here. I accidentally cut a card again. Don't love these red cards. We're not even confirmed to play red. We could take Bamboo Grove Archer, which gives us time by putting a 3/3 reach on the board, or we can take Careful Cultivation for another ramp card. Just take another ramp dork. Right. Now I'm much more interested in Geothermal Kami, because it's a very good combo with the Spirited Companion. Pick that up to recast it and draw another card, and when you pick it up, you gain some life. I think green-white is going to be the thing here. I think that's what we're doing. And this pack looks like nonsense to me. A land that cares about creature types, a bunch of off-color cards. Yeah, it's pretty much nonsense. Not going to have enough creatures that share a type. I don't think Lucky Offering's main deckable. If we were playing best of 3 draft, this would be a solid sideboard card. there's a ton of artifacts in the format, and there are a ton of enchantments in the format, so I would play cards that can destroy either artifacts or enchantments, but ones that can only destroy artifacts or only destroy enchantments, I'm still a little iffy on. But I've only played one draft so far. Are there any good lands in this set? There's actually a ton. It's kind of wild. There's a boatload of good lands in the set. Tons of uncommon lands with varying abilities. So many that I can't even list them all or remember them all. But there's like a lot of uncommon lands similar to the Secluded Courtyard that are good in specific strategy. This one is for tribal decks. There's one that's good for vehicle decks. There's one that's good for if you have an artifact or enchantment on board, you get to sacrifice it to draw a card or something like that. There's a ton of them. So like there's a bunch of those at uncommon, and then there's a bunch at rare that have a channel ability. So those are really good. The rare ones are all, they're like, they come to play untapped, tap for a land of whatever color. So like there's an untapped blue one, there's an untapped black one, an untapped red one, and then they all also have a channel ability where if you draw the land late game, then you could just instead discard it to like destroy an artifact enchantment or something. Those are sick. Those are insane. They're almost like strictly better than just a basic land. Roadside Reliquary. This is one of those uncommon lands I was talking about. 2 mana, sack it, draw a card if you control an artifact, draw a card if you control an enchantment. Really good if you're flooding out, especially if you have an artifact and enchantment on the board, because then you draw 2. Insane. So we have a really insane green uncommon here. I'm pretty sure we're green-white, so we could just take Jukai Naturalist, but Roaring Earth is an awesome, awesome card. 2 mana for an enchantment, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under control, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature or vehicle you control. So if you play this turn 2, all of a sudden for the rest of the game, all of your lands just come with a +1/+1 counter, which is super good. And then it also has a channel effect that gets rid of any downside this card would have had. Usually the downside would be if you draw this late game. If you draw this late game, you're like, well, I've already missed all my landfall triggers, so this does nothing. But now if you draw it late game, make a gigantic land a creature, which is an XX creature. So Roaring Earth is just the sickness. So Ghost Shintai is great for red. A first striker, really annoying blocker, and it just sits there dealing damage to our opponents. We're in green. Coiling Stalker is interesting. Harmonious Emergence is fine. Buna Bosiju is like a fine trick. This is kind of dumb. I still don't know if I'm green-white or green-red, and I really don't want to be all three. Oh, wow, this pack's really good. Spirited Companion for green-white. Ryu Storm's Edge if we're all three. How's it going, Super Nintendo? Unfortunately, they don't have that button implemented yet. I can't restart the draft. So if I go Naya, we can play Ryu, but that seems a bit sketch. We have to have Samurais and Warriors as well. We have no Warriors. We only have 2 Samurai. I don't think Ryu's going to work here, as cool as that is. All right, so if we want to commit to green-white, we take Spirited Companion. Commit to green-red, we take Kami's Flare. Or just be completely non-committal and take High-Speed Hoverbike or Kappa-Tech Wrecker. I'm actually going to move towards green-red here because I'm a big doofus. Now we get to take another green removal spell. I love these rabbit batteries and this singularity. Oh, Salad wants to go the full Naya. I'm sorry. We could still go the full Naya. We just don't have that Samurai tribal rare anymore. Steelbreaker's good if you have a lot of artifacts, but we don't. Kappa-Tech Wrecker actually does seem very good. 2 mana for a 1/3 Death Toucher is already a good deal, and if this ever hits your opponent, you can remove the Death Touch from it to exile one of their artifacts or enchantments. It's pretty much always going to have a target. Again, there's artifact creatures, there's enchantment creatures, there are sagas, there are vehicles, so I like Kappa-Tech Wrecker. It's also a Ninja Turtle, so that's by default got to be good, right? We can start taking Ecologist's Terrariums to go green, red, white. We also have Uncharted Haven to help, although what are we even putting in for white? Putting in some double strikers and stuff. We wouldn't be splashing anything. We'd have to just go full green, red, white, I would say. We're only really missing an Experimental Synthesizer, which is a good draw spell, but not insane. Yeah, I'll take a Terrarium. Might just go 3-color here, because I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Season of Renewal is great value late in the game. Bring a creature and enchantment back from your grave to hand, so if you have enough enchantments, it's going to be good value. We definitely do, I would say. Even if we're not playing white, we still have 8 enchantments. Don't have enough Samurai or Warrior for the Katana to be good. I'll take Season of Renewal. This is a nonsense deck. I'm much less confident in this deck than I was in my first deck. I'll definitely take a Jukai Trainee, though. Another good 2-drop warrior. It's hard to block or attack in too well. Has anyone ever told you that? Yeah, I hear that a lot, Sudoku. I heard that I went skating with the family a few days ago, and some random dude was like, "Hey, Tarantino, what's up?" It happens a lot. I don't think I really want to play any of these. Harmonious Emergence. 5 mana, 4/5 Vigilance Haste. We could pick that up. We could pick up the Aura thing. How am I doing on creatures? Only 10 creatures? Let's grab another one. I'm not Tarantino. I regret to inform you that this is not what Quentin Tarantino does on his free time. He does not just go start grinding Magic Arena, trying to get Mythic limited for the month. I could see it. Maybe he does. Maybe that's why his movies have to have so much profanity. That's how he vents. It's all just an allegory for whenever he gets mana flooded or mana screwed or whatever. All right. We have a network terminal now as well. So I think we're just doing it. We're just doing Naya. You have a great uncle who looks like Ron Perlman. That's awesome. Ron Perlman's such a boss. I don't know if you've seen Don't Look Up. He played like this military veteran that like goes in the ship to go like shoot at the asteroids and stuff. It was hilarious. Just this old curmudgeon-y war vet. I think that's the most recently that I've seen him. I don't know what I'm doing here. I have no idea what I'm doing. First draft. This is the practice draft. We'll be good. Whatever happens, I'll take it. The draft on YouTube went super well, so in order to bring balance to the universe, this draft's just going to go like a pile of nonsense. So, just to make it really simple, you can see what happens if we just go 2-color and just go green, red. I mean, that doesn't look bad. Maybe I shouldn't play this 10 mana card because I don't have a very high creature count to make it work. Although, we have 11 creatures there. If we count these, that's 2 creatures. That's 2 more creatures. That's 15 creatures. That's enough creatures. And then because we have Commune with Spirits, we basically get to cut a land because Commune with Spirits is like our 17th land. No more Almond lands. Thank you very much for the Prime subscription, Metalcito. The Bezos bucks, absolutely delicious. I'll take it. Yeah, Commune with Spirits. The really nice thing about this card is you play it as your 17th land, and if you draw it in the early game, you just cycle it to pick up a land out of the top 4. And if you draw it later in the game, then it just turns into a big enchantment from the top instead. So it's another flexible card, kind of similar to like the channel cards in a sense. So I love that. So we definitely cut a land if we put Commune in here, especially because our curve stops at like 4. I guess 5, because Harmonious Emergence, we want 5 mana out so we can attach this to an untapped land. So 1 more cut to go. Maybe enough removal to take Ninja's Kunai out. We have 2 Master's Rebuke. We have Kami's Flare. We have Fade into Antiquity. It's not a ton of removal, but Ninja's Kunai does not seem like particularly good removal. 3 damage for 2 mana and tapping a creature. So Kami's Flare and the Rebukes are definitely like way better. I think I'm cutting the Ninja's Kunai here. And I'm going to try Explosive Singularity, even though it will probably not work. And I'm just going to be a big doof with that card. Alright, this deck doesn't look very good, but we could still get lucky with this deck. Sometimes we'll just curve out, and it'll be a bad time for our opponent. Sometimes we'll just go turn 1, 1/1 haste, turn 2 Jukai Trainee, attack in with both, and then like if something goes wrong, then we cycle a Preserver to give them both counters, or cycle a Favor of Jukai to do +3/+3. I don't know. We have a lot of flexible cards. This might just have enough random cards that do like 2 different things that the deck just runs a lot better than it looks. It looks very medium. One really big thing to note here is that, it's a very adaptive deck. But yeah, one really important thing to note here, one of the things that looks super, super awkward about the deck is the lack of creatures, but there's 4 more creatures than it looks like. These are all creatures, these 4 cards. Yeah, it's going to have a hard time versus like really big blockers from our opponents. We don't have any removal that kills like a really big thing, except Singularity. That kills our opponent, which is big. Fade into Antiquity actually could be really good against like the green-blue ramp decks. A lot of their biggest creatures are going to be like the big crab that's an artifact creature, or the big turtle that's an enchantment creature. Sudoku, I do have the next few days off to play. I will be streaming a bunch more. Probably going to stream every day for the next few days, if I can keep it up. But definitely going to be recording a bunch so that I have the videos at the ready to release, daily for quite some time. Do some real big batch recording sessions. So I'm super pumped for this set. All right, I'm just gonna run with this. Let's just get in the game so we can do more drafts. Get some more experiences, varieties of decks and strategies in the format. 18 green cards, 5 red cards. We don't have a lot of red cards, so maybe we cut a red source, but I really want to be able to play rabbit batteries on turn 1. So I don't want to go too low on red sources, so I think I'm okay with just one more green source than red sources. Plus we don't have any green cards that require double green, so we don't really need to hit 2 forests that badly. Kind of like the 8-7 split. What shall we call this deck? Super adaptive with all the channel cards, and we're going to try to kill our opponent with giant explosive singularity. Not quite a literal fireball, but close enough. I'm going to call it channel fireball here. Look, it's 5 color. Secretly, we were 5 color the whole time. Sponsored draft, I wish. Channel Fireball's awesome. Channel Fireball was the main content provider that I watched for a long time, because when I first started the game back in 2009, they were one of the few channels that would put out consistent draft videos. They had Channel LSV was my main one, obviously, because LSV is just my favorite. So I watched LSV do a bunch of Alara drafts, but they had, Channel Reed Duke, Channel whatever, all the different pros would do drafts here and there since like 2009. All right, so we're playing against, what is this color? Black, red-black. So that's going to be a bunch of small artifacts to sacrifice later on, and Virus Beetle's a premium one. I'm going to not try to make it to 10 mana here. That seems really bold to hold on to the 10 mana card. We'll pass the turn here. I do have a little bit of ramp with the Careful Cultivations, but any creatures tap for an Explosive Singularity, not just mana dorks. Our opponent's checking out our lands. Happy to see that. You love to see it. Make people jealous with the cool lands. Bronze Plate Boar. We're going to get beat up so fast here. We're going to get just slammed. We have double Harmonious Emergence, so we can just start making 4/5s to get ready to block. It's not going to attack this turn, but the only other thing we could do is play a little First Striker. Actually not bad. Then the boar doesn't attack this turn. But I have no guarantee I'm going to draw a land next turn anyway, so have a guaranteed 4/5 out next turn, or block the boar immediately. I'm going to block the boar immediately, because this way we also ping them for damage. And I love crossing my fingers. That's my favorite thing to do, is to just hope. Just get lucky. My number one recommendation in positions like this, just draw the basic land. Just draw the land. Unstoppable Ogre. Well, Goshintai's not blocking there, and we have just drawn the land, as we intended to do. And we send in a 4/5 Vigilance, and it sits there blocking really well until they hit the 5 mana to reconfigure the Bronze Plate Boar. Really like the reconfigure cards, because it just came out, slammed us for 3, and now once they hit 5 mana, it kind of turns into like that big hammer, the Dwarven Hammer from Kaldheim, where now it's like, okay, now you have to block my 1/1 with something that can kill a 4/3. And then the turn after, they just put it on this instead. Now you have to block in order to kill a, 7/3 trample? Love the reconfigure cards. Uh-oh. Love the Oni Cult Anvil as well. Whenever one of their artifacts leaves the battlefield, they get a 1/1. That only happens once per turn. But they can sack an artifact to drain us for a life, so they can just keep sacrificing this construct and getting it right back and repeatedly draining us for a life. And if any of their other artifacts die, they just get replaced with a construct. Again, once per turn, but still pretty great. Master's Rebuke's an instant, right? Yeah, that's so sick. I guess we could just attack him with our Vigilance creature, and we can Master's Rebuke if things get a little hairy. Make sure the attack goes really well for us. Alright, well, hit for 4. It's cool too, they're down to 12. Now a Rabbit's Battery. Holding up Master's Rebuke and Careful Cultivation. And then once we've carefully cultivated, we get to... we get to play another Emergence next turn for another hasty creature, because we need 1 more mana to do that. Currently we have the mana to play it by tapping these. but then we'd be enchanting a tapped land and we wouldn't be attacking in. Undercity Scrounger. This is a really good combo with the Oni Cult Anvil. Because whenever whenever a creature's dying, they tap to make a treasure. And then they can sack that treasure to the anvil to drain us for a life, and then turn the treasure token into a 1/1, essentially. Opponent is playing basically the deck I drafted in the video, if you want to see the Rakdos artifact sack in action. Super cool deck. Alright, another mana dork here. Suit up another land. No clue what our deck is synergizing with to achieve victory. Nothing. We're just playing good cards, basically. Didn't really end up with a massively synergistic pile here. The general idea behind green-red is to synergize with Modify, as you can see by us just playing a pile of good cards and having to have a ton of modified creatures out. So we're going to win this fight with a Master's Rebuke. I think that's the plan here. Blow up the Ogre and kill the Scrounger as well. Yeah. Deal damage to the Ogre. So yeah, the general idea when you're in green-red is to try to end up with a deck that's synergizes with Modify, but we didn't get anything that really cares about us having modified cards. We just drafted a bunch of cards that are like good for their mana costs and ended up with both these 4/5s. They count as modified creatures because they have an aura on them. This rabbit battery can get reconfigured onto something, and then that would count as a modified creature. But we don't have anything that actually cares that we can do that. So we're just kind of playing good stuff. So they're at 8 life. We're dealing a damage to them every turn from Ghost Shintai. We have an Iron Apprentice, which is cool. I guess we could haste it out as a 2/2 attacker. That actually seems quite good to me, because everything they have has 2 toughness or less. Do we attack all even? We're at 12 life, they crack back for 6/7. They can't keep everything around, they have to block a bit. Sudoku, you just blew my mind. Rabbit Battery is literally the Energizer Bunny. Oh my god, I need an Energizer Secret Lair. You know what they should do? They should get brand deals with a bunch of different companies and just have the brand deal Secret Lair. Because you couldn't have like 5 different cards all about Energizer. We could have 5 brand deals. That's such a good point, Sudoku. That's awesome. It's the Energizer Bunny. Didn't even realize it. I think we just want to keep everything where it is. I was really hoping, I'm such a nerd, I was really hoping for a Cyberpunk branded Secret Lair. Get a Keanu Reeves card, would have been dumb. They're at 2 life, but they gain a life from Oni Cult Anvil if they sacrifice something, but the only thing they could sacrifice right now is the Anvil itself, or the Bronze Plate Boar. They have a lot of cards in their hand. We'll see what they have here. So I wasn't sure how I felt about these Harmonious Emergence. I'm definitely happier with my deck now that I've played with this card. This is a 5 mana 4/5 Vigilance Haste. That's a good deal. Card's just beef. Ooh, Leech Gauntlet. I really like that. One of my favorite reconfigure cards. Just moving lifelink around. Put it on a big thing. Doesn't give +2/+2 in lifelink. That would just be insanely good. But it's still pretty great. A 2 mana 2/2 lifelink with huge upside. Alright, so they're at 3 life. We can haste a Jukai Preserver in and make all our creatures big enough to attack in. I think that's what I want to do here. Don't give them more Secret Lair ideas. It's true. True, maybe I shouldn't be telling WotC to make 1,000,000 Secret Lairs. Yeah, this looks great to me. We can't kill them because they have lifelink, but we get really close. I guess even if they didn't have lifelink, we'd only be hitting for 2 here if they chump block the 4 power creatures. The only thing they can kill is Iron Apprentice, and if they kill that, we get to put 2 +1/+1 counters on our 1/1. Let me all know, is Untapped working? Because it better be working today. It would be really, really important that it is. That's where, if you're watching on PC, you should be able to hover over any of the cards to be able to read them yourselves. Kind of relying that on a bit here rather than explaining every single card. Because otherwise, I mean, these cards are all brand new, so really important that that's working. Nice, thanks, Ryvoke. Super happy about that. So big recommendation. If you have no idea what's going on, please hover over the cards. They are all massive walls of text. And if you really, really don't know what's going on, then let me know, because that means I've absolutely failed. I have absolutely failed at explaining anything. But hopefully you get the gist. So I'm putting the counters here to spread around my threats, rather than make one really big creature to draw removal out. So they need like a 3-for-1 removal to get back into the game, and they do not have that, so we are 1-0. Alright. Yeah, 1-drop, 2-drop, our 5-drop haste creature. We have Fade into Antiquity to potentially exile a creature of our opponents. I was going to be interested to see if this Iron Apprentice said that when it leaves the battlefield you can move the counters around. That would be really, really good, because it would combo with Ninjutsu in that way, because you put it back in your hand. There's a card. There's an uncommon artifact creature that I think is absurd. It's a 3-mana 2/3. You gain 2 life when it enters the battlefield and draw a card when it leaves the battlefield. I drafted that in a red-black sacrifice deck because we sacrifice it, we get value, but it also combos just incredibly good with Ninjutsu. Because if you return it to your hand to play a Ninjutsu creature, and you draw a card when you put it back in your hand, and then you just play it again and gain more life, and then draw a card when it dies, as you were going to do anyway. Alright, let's just attack with the Apprentice, and I would not like to Ninjutsu my Kappa-Tech Wrecker. Rather keep the 1/1 on the board and have a 1/3 on the board. So that's how Ninjutsu works if you haven't seen it before. If something you attack with isn't blocked, then you put it back in your hand and cheat out the ninja for usually a cheaper cost. But sometimes it's just to get a little trick in. So the trick here with Kappa-Tech Wrecker is that if you just play Kappa-Tech Wrecker, they're going to make sure to block it if they have a good artifact or enchantment out. But if you Ninjutsu it out, then they can't really respond. You're just like, look, it hit you. Goodbye to your best card. Am I doing any pre-release LGS stuff? I think I'm going to. My local game store is doing pre-release stuff now. So I'm probably going to do one. At least one. I'm pretty excited. So that's what, taps for 1 mana? Yep, that's the common 1/1, except this one could tap for 2 mana if it's modified. Cool. So we just attack, right? Yeah, they don't have good blocks. They could trade with the Apprentice, but then our Tech Wrecker's a 2/4. Our Ninja Turtle. Which one do you think this is? Which Ninja Turtle is this? I don't know enough about them. Yeah, we're not really playing anything here, unfortunately. It's a sword, so it's Leonardo. Is that the one with the sword? It's got a green sword, yeah. Ninjutsu flavors fun. Surprise! The 1/1 drone's actually a 5/5 orc. True. Imperial Subduer. Whenever a samurai or warrior they control attacks alone, they tap one of our creatures. So some samurai tribal going on. Pretty cool. We could make one of our creatures just a big dork, or we could set up a 4/5. I'd rather just set up a 4/5 here. This is a weird enough hand that, like, the choice is play a tapped 4/5 or don't really play anything, so we're going to play a tapped 4/5 this game. Unlike last game, we are incredibly far from casting this card. I feel like this is probably generally unplayable. Maybe, I don't know. It's a mythic rare. It's like my second draft of the set. This is the draft where we figure out if it's playable. What is this? So for 2 mana, our opponent gets to scry 2. Next turn, they'll gain 2 life, and the turn after that, they'll get a 2/2 first striker. Pretty slow, but when you stack all that together for only 2 mana, a good deal overall. And unfortunately for us, they have Intercessors Arrested, or 4/5. So it can't attack or block now, unless we exile that. And I think it is worth it to exile that. So I'm going to do that. And then attack in here. Yeah, I'd rather exile that than the Era of Enlightenment, because that's just going to be a 2-2. Whereas this is going to be a 4-4 or 4-5 on our board. And actually, Capitech Wrecker is awesome here, because we attack in, and if they block, we trade up because of Death Touch, and if they don't block, we can exile their Saga. Really nice stuff from the Ninja Turtle. Cool. So we'll kill the Subduer. Get that out of the way. Uh-oh. Double Striker. If they give that any buffs, that'll be pretty scary. Not too bad right now. So they throw a Ninja's Kunai onto the Orochi Merge Keeper. So if we attack in with the 4-5, they can sacrifice the Kunai to do 3 damage, plus do 2 first strike damage with their Double Striker, and they just beat it right there. However, we've got a trick up our sleeves that will ruin their day if they try to do that. So let's see what happens. Alright, no blocks, fair enough. We will make another 4-5 then. A tapped 4-5. Why would you... I guess either way we have a tapped 4-5, so it's all good. We'll trade 4-5s. Switch them around. You know what I'm noticing? This card feels completely unplayable to me, but our deck is also just really bad at them. Really bad at them. Or really bad with this card. Because of the fact that 4 of our creatures don't combo with it well at all. Because 2 of them are these creature lands, right? So that doesn't give us any more mana for that. That's just the one they would have tapped if they weren't a creature anyway. And the other 2 of our creatures are creatures that tap for green, so that doesn't help us any more than they would have just tapping for mana anyway also. We don't really have creature tokens either. Okay, so... only 1 red mana, so we can't immediately equip the Rabbit Battery, which is sad. But I think we still put it out. We'll put it out main phase 2, because it's definitely not attacking in. Now that they have 4 first striking damage, even if we favor Jukai, what happens? We still lose our 4-5, but we kill everything they have. They sacrifice the Kunai, deal 3 damage to it. We give it +3/+3, and then it's a 7/8 that's been dealt 3. It takes 4 first strike damage and survives, kills both the blockers, but then it dies to regular combat damage from Double Strike. I think it's worth it. Still. I am going to try to get top 1200 Mythic this month, Sudoku, because next month is a limited tournament if you're top 1200 Mythic. So those are the times that I actually try. Because any other month, like if I get invited to a constructed tournament, I'm just not going to go. So I don't really care about hitting Mythic unless I get to go to a cool tournament. And next month would be a cool tournament if I get top 1200 Mythic. Plus, whenever a new set comes out, it's always really exciting. So I'm going to play a bunch of the format already. So I think I will be doing the Mythic ranked climb later on. I'm not too worried about it right now. Still just learning the set and chilling. But probably a week from now, I'll do some more streams and be like, Mythic ladder climb. Try hard mode as the stream title or whatever. Alright, so they do that. I'll allow it. You're not trying to trick me here, are you, opponent? Do something spicy. They are indeed. Ninja's Kunai it is. So now we use our favor. Alright, see you in a bit, Sudoku. And the board's going to be nice and clear now. They're going to have a 1-1. We're going to have a 1-1. They have 1 card in hand. We have 1 card in hand. They have another trick for 1 mana here. Doesn't look like it. Cool. Clear the board. And here's the battery. Yeah, these 4-5s have been sick. Just chunky. And the vigilance is so good. Vigilance haste, 5 mana 4/5. That's rude. What is this saga? +1/+1 counter vigilance, +1/+1 counter vigilance, and then a 5/5 vigilance haste? Uh-oh. That's not good. That's no good. Don't appreciate that. Don't appreciate that one bit. I guess we're just trying to draw all the mana for Explosive Singularity. We have 7 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually 8 if we unattach the Rabbit Battery, because they can both tap for it. So we need 2 more mana, and then we can kill them. We can surprise kill them. We just need to reconfigure our Rabbit Battery. I think this is the first time it's come up on stream, but important to note, reconfigure, you can equip it to something. You can also unequip it just when you want at sorcery speed. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 when we Careful Cultivation. Careful Cultivation adds 1 more whether we enchant it to something or make another 1/1. If we enchant it to something, that creature will tap for 2, but the creature's already tapping for 1 for this. So I think I'd rather spread my creatures out. So we're going to go and reconfigure to unattach Rabbit Battery. Then we'll cycle Careful Cultivation in their end step, and then if we top deck a basic, we win. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, top deck a basic and win is the plan. Because otherwise their board is so much bigger than ours, even if we enchant this aura to something to help block. Because this 5/5, we can put an aura on a 2/2 and make it a 3/5. So yeah, we're definitely not going for that. You love the Kamigawa board? The trees aren't real? That's so cool! Ryvoke, thank you very much for that. That information. All I knew was that it's a pretty chill board. I love just clicking around in the water, but the trees are virtual. That's so interesting. So opponent gets to replay an artifact from their grave. They get to play their Ninja's Kunai. Oh, this one gets to play an enchantment from the grave, so they replay the era. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's actually scary. That means we have to top deck the land right now, otherwise they gain 2 life next turn. So we need to top deck a basic right now. Yeah, super good information. MVP Ryvoke. Back at it again with the important details. Let's try 1 to top 1 to bottom 1 time. Basic land on top. Let's go. Come on, come on. I mean, it's a creature. It's a big creature, which means we'll have the 10 mana next turn, because we'll have a creature out. We can also use this at instant speed, out of nowhere. 3, 4, 5, 6, to make a 4/4. Oh no, target land you control becomes the creature, so technically we'll still just have 9. Doesn't actually add another Singularity mana. Oh wait, can we cast this? No, Arena's confused. Arena's confused, because it sees that we can tap this. So it sees that we have 6 mana plus 4 creatures to tap, but the second I try to do this, it'll be like, wait, but you've already tapped the Human Monk. See, watch. Arena's confused. Action cannot be completed due to unpayable cost. Thanks, Arena. Yeah, we'll channel the Roaring Earth, I guess. Go home, Arena, you're drunk. Now we have to hit our opponent for 1 more now, though, because they made it to the life gain. Getting worried. Getting quite worried. I don't want to trade my land into that, because I need it to cast my big spell. So I think I'm taking it all, because again, I don't want to lose a creature. This is really fine with me. They're going for late game value this way, put the Saga back in their hand and get a +1/+1 counter on something. Then they can replay the Saga and get more counters on their cards, which is cool. I'm pretty fine with the game going long. Gives us more chances to just get 1 single point of damage in. And we might do it here, because we're going to make a 4/4, and they're probably not going to want to block with Norika Yamazaki? Norika Yamazaki, yeah. So if we make a 4/4 with Roaring Earth and then attack in with that, that damage probably gets in, and then we can Singularity them the turn after. Actually, we do make a 5/5, because I forgot about the Human Monk. Yes, okay, sweet. Okay, we have Singularity mana, but if I Singularity, they go to 1 life, and I won't have any creatures untapped. So I can't kill them on the spot. Because we spend 5 plus 5. So we would tap everything down, take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's way too risky. Go to 1 life. Yeah, no. We attack with the 5/5 here and then kill them next turn. I believe that's the play. Believe that's the plan. Do I reconfigure? Yeah, since I'm not doing anything else with my mana. Get an extra point of damage in just in case the Singularity doesn't go off for us. Equip for damage, unequip for the creature to be at the ready. Oops, wrong ability. Alright, so now the creature's ready for Singularity next turn again. If we survive this turn, then we Singularity for 10. We might do the thing, we might do the mythic 10 damage to a player. Just really dumb card. They'd have to gain like 6 life. Or kill us right now. I guess if they kill one of our creatures, they can stop it. So hopefully they don't kill our 5/5 land here. I think that's the only creature they'd have a reason to throw a removal spell at right now. Ecologist's Terrarium. Grab a land. They can put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. So that doesn't change anything. They have 2 cards left in their hand. I think it's happening. I think we might get to day 1 Explosive Singularity. Achieve the meme dream. It's not that big of a meme. It's probably just a fine card, but it is very dumb. Should get a card style for that. That would be really cool if they add challenges to Arena to get card styles. Like, cast this spell unlimited. Get the card style. One, 2, 3, 4. 10 to them. Auto pay. No instance from our opponent, and we got to hold our 5/5 untapped just in case. That'll be 2-0. Just 10 damage to the dome. Just here you go. A little gift for you, a little present. Mono green hand, but plenty of green cards to play. I'm gonna go for it. It's pretty sketchy. It's only 2 mana. But we never didn't have it. So we're playing against blue now with a beautiful island. Even the non-full art basics in the set are just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous set. Probably play our Goshintai here to have a nice first striker out. It's a really good combo with the Jukai Preserver as well, because putting a counter on a first striker is quite a good bit of value. Just makes it super hard to block profitably. Searchlight Companion. This card's pretty sick. 1/1 flyer and 1/1 spirit on the ground. And the flyer is an artifact creature if you care about that. Well, they can't block either of our creatures well because of their abilities, so send in the squad. I don't think I want to send in the Tech Wrecker, because if I send it in, I could remove the counter to exile this Searchlight Companion, but then it's just a 1/3 without Death Touch. Feels like not a great deal to just kill a 1/1 with it, even if it is a flyer. I think I'm going to Cultivate in their end step. So we have 4 mana next turn to play our Jukai Preserver. Feels like the best card in hand. Also gets us closer to the 5 mana Harmonious Emergence. Searchlight Companion's just cute, possibly your favorite card of the set. Yeah, it's pretty good. I played it in a Rakdos sack deck, it was pretty sweet. Giving just 2 tokens off 1 card, it's great to put back into your hand with Ninjutsu. Just combos well with a lot of the stuff going on. Good with the blue-red artifacts theme, because it is an artifact creature. So here's that Era of Enlightenment again. They're going to scry 2, then gain 2, then have a 2/2 first striker. It's mostly the art. The art is pretty adorable. Little Kami hanging out with the drone. Moon Snare prototypes. They get some colorless mana. Yep, just get some colorless mana. I'll take 2. I don't want to trade a mana dork for a 1/1 with no abilities. I feel like the fact that cultivation is instant speed isn't going to matter too often. Because usually I'm just not going to want to... I'm not going to want to like flash it in and block with it. Alright, so we drew another mana there, so we'll just haste out a 4/5 Vigilance Haste to put them down to 5 life. That seems pretty good. And since we're at 18, we'll tap it to do another damage, put them to 4. Seems good. God, this card. Sick. So much better than it looks. All of these kind of cards back in like Zendikar, they were just pretty awkward. Never felt all that great, but played maybe 3 games with this card and I just love it. Just absolutely love it so far. Plus it's adorable. There's a giant weird frog thing going on. Like a 6-legged frog. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, 6. Got little tadpoles with it, or eels or something. I don't know biology. I don't know biology nearly well enough to know what is going on there. Imperial Oath. It's going to be a solid way to stay alive from our opponent. 3 2/2s and they scry 3. We do have Jukai Preserver to play at instant speed to put a counter on 2 of our creatures to make their blocks pretty poor for them. Plus Master's Rebuke to play at instant speed, so I think we're attacking in, holding up some good instants to play as combat tricks to make sure no matter how they block, it goes really, really poorly for them. Now we have double Rebuke too, that's insane. They reprint Sensei's Divining Top in the set. I think the card is too powerful for them to want to have reprint here. Want to have reprinted here. I probably shouldn't have attacked with the 1/1. Should have held 5 mana up so I could cast 2 of our tricks instead of just 1 of them. I guess we could cast 2 rebukes. But I mean, at 6 life, still good to pressure them here. Okay, so they blocked with 5 total power, so Jukai Preserver is going to just go off. Yeah, Jukai Preserver goes absolutely ham here, right? We just killed them, actually. Never mind. I was so excited to Preserver on here to kill all of those and keep this out, and Preserver here to trade. But we can also just Preserver here and do 6 damage. The channel effect on Jukai Preserver coming in hot here. And every time we just cast it as a creature, it was phenomenal as well. Another card I really love. But that card I liked it the second I saw it for the flexibility, unlike the enchant land thing. That was one that really overperformed. Round 4. We're on the play. Have the Commune with Spirits for our 4th land, but I think I'd rather just play our 1/1. Sounds a little awkward. Doesn't have any late game plays, but hopefully Commune can help with that. We've got some big enchantment creatures. Big enchantment creatures. The 4 mana auras that make the 4/5 vigilance being the biggest ones, but also the Jukai Preservers. The 4 mana 4/4s. Ooh, Geothermal Kami is the draw. That's actually a little awkward in our deck. There's not much for it to pick up and do anything cool with. So, that's a thing. So our opponent has one of the cool lands. They're going for a ninja deck. So they have a land that can tap for any color for ninjas. See what our commune gets? 2 Jukai Preservers to choose from. Or a land, because we only have 3 mana here. We still have Kami's Flare and Favor of Jukai, even if we don't hit the 4th mana, and we don't need 5, we only need 4. So I'm going to take a Preserver, because we only need to draw 1 land to be able to cast everything in hand. Right, ooh, Goshintai is the draw. We will cast that. Play for the turn. Blue-black is the color pair for ninjas. That's basically the archetype in blue-black. Play some cheap, hard-to-block creatures like flyers, and then ninjutsu some other stuff out, especially ones with good enter the battlefield effects like Searchlight Companion, because then if they attack me with this and ninjutsu out a better creature, then they can recast it and get another spirit and get all the benefits of the ninjutsu creature as well. So I think I want to hold up my Kami's Flare mana here, because I want to make sure they can't just drop a ninjutsu card down. So I think I'm going to blow up the companion. I guess I could do it right now. But I mean, if they block with the companion, that's cool to me too. If they trade the 1/1 spirit for the apprentice, then we have a 3/3 first striker down, which is pretty good. So I don't think I'm going to spend a combat trick to save it. Although we could use the preserver, but then we wouldn't have the mana up for the flare, which is something I really want to do here. Alright, so I think we shoot them for 1 and kill the companion. I'll wait to kill the companion in case they play something better. Excuse me. It's going to be really important when we time our kill spell on the companion, though, because if we wait until they declare attacks, until the declare blockers step, then this will count as an unblocked creature, and they can ninjutsu in response and just absolutely demolish me. So we need to make sure to do it. Oh, well, if they just play another one, then I don't have to do it. All right. I was going to say, we got to make sure to do it when they declare the attack, but before we're allowed to declare blockers, because after we declare that we're not blocking it, that's when they get to ninjutsu it back to hand. So if I wait till that point and then try to do it, they'll just ninjutsu in response, and I'll get absolutely destroyed. But now I don't even have to kill one of these. And now that they have 2 of them, I think I just wait for them to ninjutsu and then kill whatever ninja they try to play instead. Do we want to make our Goshintai even bigger? Or just play a 4/4 alongside it? I think I'll play a 4/4 alongside it. I don't really want to stack it all in one. This has panned out pretty awkwardly. I was really expecting them to have a good ninja to drop down there. The fact that they just played another companion. It's definitely really awkward, because we would just much rather have had a 4/3 or a 4/4 out then, in that case. If that was the game plan. Because now that they have 2 flyers down, we can't really stop them from doing ninjutsu. Unless I went really bold and decided to play nothing again, so that I could just give my creature reach till end of turn, and flare the other one, so we kill one and block the other. But that seems just really all in on our opponent having a ninjutsu card on the spot. Which is likely. But hopefully it's not a bad enough one that we would need to shoot it immediately. Maybe it'll be the 5/5. That'd be pretty cool. Just slap me for 5 damage. I'm pretty okay with that. But if it's one of them that does something good whenever it hits me, then that will be not okay. Okay, nice. It's the 5/5. Alright. This card's great. I had 1 copy in our first Rakdos deck, and I was like, alright, whatever. I mean, don't really have a lot going to synergize with this. It's kind of whatever. But it's like a 4 mana 5/5 haste if you have the expendable cheap creatures to bounce to hand, which is just nuts. So I really like that card. Okay, so what are we doing here? Attack for 7? Attack for 10 if we slap that onto something. But then we're not holding up anything. I don't think we need to hold up anything. We can play a Rabbit Battery and hold that up and hit for 8 here, putting them to 7 life. Or I could just hold up both these spells, but again, don't really have a reason to do that. I think I just want to just hit and play another creature. Just the 4/3. And then hopefully we can use our tricks to find lethal next turn, as long as we don't die. As long as they don't ninjutsu out an 8-power creature with their Searchlight Companion. Although they will have a lot of blockers, because they'll have 2 blockers off of that 1 3-mana card, and they'll have 2 more mana to play around with outside of that. But I think we can win against 2 blockers, because we can blow one of them up and deal 2 damage to them, because we have a modified creature. Our Jukai Preserver is modified with a counter on it. And then we also sneak in 3 extra damage with the combat trick. So we sneak out an extra 5 damage out of nowhere. So we only really need to do 3 to our opponent. So yeah, if they have 2 blockers, block here, +3/+3, Kami's Flare for another 2. So yeah, we win if they have 3 or less blockers. Because we can blow up one of the 3 with Kami's Flare. And again, yeah, 2 blocks and 1 unblocked creature's lethal. So that's 3 blockers. That's 3 or less blockers. So we probably go for it. Kill one of the blockers. They block the 2 4-power creatures, and then we kill them with the trick. They've only got 1 mana up, and it's only colorless unless they cast an instant speed 1 mana ninja. Which I doubt they will. I doubt they do instant speed 1 mana ninja here. I don't think that's a thing in the set. Okay, so combat trick on the Kami. It is technically possible to ninjutsu out an 8 power creature in the set. You need a Satoru Umezawa on board and a Skyscraper in hand and 4 mana. It only costs 4 mana to ninjutsu out the Skyscraper? Satoru Umezawa makes anything you ninjutsu cost 4? I want somebody to draft that so bad, Ryvoke. Please tell me all those cards are in your deck. So you have the Skyscraper Ninja, the CN Tower, with just a ninja headband just slipped right in. This is weird. We're mono green. That's okay. It'll buff. We'll just grab a mountain with Commune with Spirits. If we're lucky. Come on. Ooh, that's not a mountain. It's a red card or the 3rd land. We have 4 mana cards in hand, so I think we need to just grab the land. Play it safe. Alright, now we get the Mana Dork out turn 2, which lets us cast these 4 mana cards, which is excellent. Careful Cultivation's awesome, but it is one of the confusing cards in the set. Just disregard all of this text, just read the channel. That's what the card is. And now, we get to play a 4 mana 4/4. Or a 4 mana 4/3. I don't know why that decision took me so long. It's probably pretty clearly the slightly bigger creature. Uh-oh. Where's our Fade into Antiquity? I want it badly. This Mind Link mech is terrifying. It crews for only 1 mana, and whatever you crew it with, it makes the Mind Link mech a copy of that creature that's just also a 4/3 flyer. So if they copy a creature that gets like +1/+1 for each card engraved, all of a sudden it's like a 6/5 flyer. Mind Link mech's terrifying. Even if it didn't copy the creature, it would be pretty good. So I like Jukai Trainee here, so we can hold up Favor of Jukai and maybe just kill the Mind Link mech out of nowhere by getting +3/+3 reach. That could be pretty big. It's only 1 less damage to hold that up. And we're also holding up Master's Rebuke this way to just deal 4 damage to Mind Link mech if we want to kill it that way instead. But I think I'd rather kill it with a combat trick if we can kill it with a combat trick. So we can save the other removal spell for something else. Moon Snare Specialist. When it enters the battlefield, return a creature to its owner's hand. That's a really good card. 4 mana, 2/2, bounce a creature to owner's hand, and then you can ninjutsu it out for only 3. That is super sweet. Yeah, that'll resolve. Not going to try to do any tricks there, because I really want to kill the mech, so I'm saving my mana to kill that instead. And we will be killing that with Favor of Jukai, because now we don't even have enough power to use Master's Rebuke if we wanted to. Yeah, while you were studying your mechanical engineering, Jukai Trainee was mastering the blade. Fool. Absolute fool. Alright, probably hit for 3 here and then play the Kami. I guess we could play Jukai Preserver and hit for 4. We have a 3/3 and a couple 2/2s. Any targeted removal they have works worse. And then if we really want a 4/4, we can pick the 3/3 back up and get a counter on another card. Seems pretty sweet. Seems pretty solid altogether. Spread out our threats a bit. Probably overvalue spreading out the threats. This is maybe a position where we want to just put a counter on Jukai Trainee. Every time you say Kami, you think communist. It might be Kami. I don't know. I don't know the pronunciations. If anybody knows for certain, I'd love to know. Behold the Unspeakable. My creatures get -2/-0, then they draw 4 cards. Oh no, they scry 2, draw 2. Still great. And then they get a big old creature. Okay, what do I want to do here? My creatures are all just little weaklings. Little newbies. Only for a turn, though. If we don't have enough power to rebuke the specialist, we don't really get any attacks in here. Roaring Earth doesn't really do anything because we don't have any lands to play. But Geothermal Kami doesn't do much because I don't really want to return a creature here. We could still just play it anyway and play Rabbit Battery and just set up for next turn. I'm actually okay with that. Let's just set up for big attacks next turn. Make our field really big. And just go for it. They're at 12, so if we just keep the pressure on here, it's going to be our best bet, because they have a million cards. If this game keeps going on and they have the time to dump their whole hand, they're going to have just more stuff than we do. Twisted Embrace, super, super bad time. Kill one of our creatures and make the specialist bigger. I guess that's not the worst time in the universe. They just kill a 4-3 with it, and now they have a 3-3, which is whatever. It's pretty fine, I guess, all things considered. So, we can attack into a 3-3 with these. You are correct. The way to pronounce Kami is like gummy. I hope that's not true. I don't know if I could keep a straight face. They played another Kami here. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. Alright. Yeah, I really like attacking with the 3-3s. I don't really think we have a great attack with the 2-2 that taps for a mana. Although we could equip it with the Rabbit Battery, but I think I'd rather play a Jukai Trainee and hold up the Master's Rebuke. Although I guess I get to do that and just not attack with a 2-2. We just equip the Rabbit Battery and we still have 2 up. Yeah, that actually seems sick. That's pressuring a good amount of damage. We could kill their 3-3 right now. But then I wouldn't attack with this anyway, and that's the only reason to do that. The only reason to kill the 3-3 pre-combat would be to send the 2-2 in also, I think. Okay, so we should kill it here. I guess it gets more damage in either way, because even if we're not sending the 2-2 now, it's not blocking there and stopping 3 damage. Yeah, that was bad. I should have done this pre-combat. But we still do it here. Yeah, that might cost us a bit here. Because now they have their really big attacker. They are down to 7 instead of being down to like 5. Oh no, another Behold the Unspeakable. Our whole field gets -2/-0, and our whole field's a bunch of just small creatures. Virus Beetle as well, make us discard the Roaring Earth. Well, maybe we'll draw our 10 mana, 10 damage to the face card. That'd be cool. That'd be a little interesting here. Ooh, or we just draw a 4/5 Vigilance Haste. Card just popping off every time we draw it. Just like, yeah, is a 4/5 Vigilance Haste good on this board? Yes, always. Always. Goodbye, Virus Beetle. So, I mean, they're still down to 7 against a big field, but they're drawing a million cards again. Scry 2, draw 2. They'll get another Vision, and their first Vision's a 5/5 now. Clawing Torment. Make that a 3/4 that can't block, and it deals a damage to us now and then. It's not that big of a deal. It does make it significantly smaller. So we play another mana here. Just make it a 4/5 again and force them to block with their flyer to kill it. But I guess Jukai Trainee already just kills the Vision, but the land gets in for more damage. And we'd get rid of the bleeding effect if they block there. Is there any benefit to having reconfigured off? Because when they block these two, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, if they didn't have... Oh. If they didn't have... If we just knew they didn't have an instant, then if we reconfigured to remove the +1/+1 haste, it would be lethal. We probably should have just went for that and hoped for the best. Just unequipped the Rabbit Battery so we had one more attacker. I don't think we're missing a damage if we unequip the battery. Fade into Antiquity was a sick draw. Yeah, get rid of that gigantic creature. Now, make something a 4/4, so that if they block with the operative, that creature dies. If they don't block, they take a lot. So we can do it on Jukai Trainee or Jukai Preserver. It doesn't matter much, because the Trainee only gets +1/+1 one time when it gets blocked, even if they double block it. So either way, we lose the creature. I guess I'll put it on the Trainee. Keep the bigger creature around longer. The Energizer Bunny is putting in work. I'm so happy you all are here. You make the stream so much better. Because you just come up with the craziest stuff. The walking skyscraper ninja, the Energizer bunny for the rabbit battery. Just make it 10 times more entertaining than I could ever. You are all the greatest. And thank you for being here. What have you got, jellyfish? Ooh, they're going to take it. Down to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We draw our 10 damage spell, that's it. Although they're playing blue, so you can never be certain. They could have a counter spell. Moon Snare Specialist. Goodbye, creature token. And now we are off of the 10 damage spell, even if we draw into it. We don't have the mana for it. We have 9. 5 lands plus 4 creatures if we unequip the Energizer Bunny. Silver Fur Master and Virus Beetle. Now's where they start turning the corner and getting to attack at us, because their creatures are just so big to block with. Oh, Season of Renewal. Return a creature from grave to hand and an enchantment from grave to hand. That's really good. Our only creature is the 4/3, which is a little interesting, but what enchantment would we want here? Favor of Jukai? Harmonious Emergence to just pick up 2 creatures? 2 mana, so we'd want something we could play for 2 mana ideally, so we could just pick up our 1/1 again. If we pick up Favor of Jukai, do we have any good attacks? So we attack with Trainee, that makes it a 4/4, we make it a 7/7 with our cycle. I think we don't really have good attacks still. I guess they wouldn't have great blocks if we pick up the +2/+3 thing. I just think it might be too slow to pick up a Harmonious Emergence here. Like, might just try to go for a quicker kill with Favor of Jukai. Or protect ourselves with the reach from it. That could be wrong. Really don't know here. I mean, we can't really go massively wrong with whatever we pick up, because either way we're like drawing 2. See what they want to do about the Trainee. Oh, I was so excited. I was like, the number one thing Favor of Jukai can do is if they don't read it, they'll just see a 4-mana card in our hand and be like, okay, whatever. But if they read it, they'll know we can channel it for 2 and just win this combat, whatever they do here. Oh! Okay. They read it, though, because it just makes 7, right? 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they read it. Well, we kill the operative. Still worth it, I think. Because the operative is their scariest card by far. Because it gets to come in unblocked and be held up as a blocker. It's like a Vigilant 4/5 unblockable on this board. Which is very, very bad for us. So that went okay. Still don't know if it was like the right thing to do, but I think probably, because like this thing is just single-handedly killing us pretty quickly and blocking massively well. So I like getting that off the board. Alright, all kinds of ninjutsu combos going on. They ninjutsu'd this out to draw a card when they hit us. And they got to replay the Disruptor because they put it back in their hand with ninjutsu. And now their board state is just massive, and there's no way we're breaking in. So, kind of all in on the 10 damage spell. Right, because we just play Kami here. We don't bring our Preserver back because we want to be able to block all this stuff on the ground. We're just taking 2 damage a turn, so we have quite a while to try to draw into it. If I give this haste and attack with a 5/4, they block with a 3/3 and a 1/1 that puts its counter on the flyer. Then I move this over there, and then they block there. I guess at 4 life, we actually could legitimately just keep killing a couple of their creatures each time they block. Because they can't single block the Kami to kill it. They can't block in any way where we only kill one of their creatures. Because they have to block with 4 power. And I guess we are just still getting in, rather than just fingers crossed, just hoping for that 1 card. They are forced into a block here. They probably double block. They do. And then we just move the rabbit over to the Preserver next turn. Then we're attacking with a 4/4. They have to double block that if they want to kill it. Just keep chipping away at the field little by little until maybe we get in there. Anything we draw off the top gets haste, which is great. Oh no, a rare Saga. Uh-oh. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter unless they have... Oops. Wait, what the heck is... I want to read the saga first, because it gave me a rat. Each opponent creates a rat, and then they give... they get a 3/3 flying haste and take all our rats. And when it attacks, they sack a rat to draw a card? Okay, that's really interesting. So by giving us the rat token, we have the mana for Singularity, and we wouldn't have otherwise? Because we needed 4 creatures and 6 basics? Explosive Singularity, oh my god. Thank you for the rat, opponent. Wow, that's a horrible time for our opponent. That lined up so poorly for them. This is only 2 mana. That's a really interesting card. That's a super cool rare, but we also have a super cool mythic, and we're just lucky enough to draw it every game we need it. All right, we are going first, and I love turn 1 Rabbit Battery. Our best 1-drop in the deck. We have 2 of them. I've earned a monocle and a cigar, chat says. I have indeed. We have nothing to ramp into with Cultivation, so I'd rather play a bigger attacker. Just play the trainee. Although, we have Commune with Spirits. This probably grabs us a 4 or 5 mana enchantment. Most of our enchantments are pretty beefy creatures. So that'd be something to ramp into with the Cultivation. This card is super good. Selfless Samurai here. Whenever one of their creatures, Samurai or Warriors, attacks alone, it gets lifelink, so it really helps them race super well. And they can also just give something indestructible later in the game and save their best creature. Nuts card. Card really helped demolish me in one of my earlier games. I don't even know if I want to attack in, because if I attack in, they just attack back with lifelink and just gain all the life back anyway, so I'm just losing life. Like at a net, I'm dealing 0 to them and taking 2 if I attack. So let's just commune and hold off here. Grab a Jukai Preserver. That's our play next turn. And I don't want to equip Rabbit Battery because I want to be able to cultivate. If I didn't have a cultivation in hand, I'd probably go ahead and equip Rabbit Battery here. Just because pretty easy to unequip, and we're not going to be getting in with a 1/1 against a 2/2 ever. Alright. So the trainee already holds off the 2/2 because of its ability whenever it becomes blocked. So that's why no attacks from our opponent there. Ooh. Heir of the Ancient Fang comes in with a +1/+1 counter if we control a modified creature. So if we play this the turn after we play our Preserver, then it'll come in nice and beefy. Or if we play it after we equip a Rabbit Battery to something, we could do it as well. But I think I'd rather just play the Preserver here. Just make a chunky 5/5 haste attacker right now. And start getting in. And now the Jukai Preserver is double modified. It's got a +1/+1 counter, and it has an equipment. I don't think double modified matters for anything. There's one card in the Commander set, actually, that's really cool. That's if it is equipped, enchanted, and has a counter on it, then it can attack. And when it does, it's like really big and explosive, but otherwise, it does not do its thing. Alright, so we play our Heir of the Ancient Fang, because we have a modified creature. It is triple modified now. We did it. We achieved Voltron. It has an aura, an equipment, and a counter on it. However, it's our opponent's aura that makes it so it sucks. So a hasty 4/5 to get in there, and we're still holding our Jukai Trainee back as a 3/3 blocker. And now we have 5 mana here, 4 mana there. If we draw a basic land, we can Explosive Singularity for the kill again. It's really stupid. This is how to play the game Magic. You just gotta draw the right cards. Draw the insane mythic and all the basics. Alright. Officially at this point, our mythic rare has won us like half of our games. So I don't think anything fair has been happening. And also, I would like to take back everything bad I said about that card. because it's just nuts. It's just winning games every time. It is a lot of mana, but pretty much every time you cast it, if you're an aggressive deck like we are, you just win. So here we are, potentially the final boss if we just immediately win. But we've got multiple rounds in the magazine here. Multiple more chances. So our opponent starts with Okiba, Reckoner, Raid. Pretty interesting card. I think it's fine. I think it's, decent. I played it in our first deck because it's basically a 1-mana 2/2 menace. Drain your opponent for a life the first couple turns, but then eventually you've got a 2/2 menace out on turn 3. This is terrifying. Oh my god, look at that thing. It's just shrieking. Oh, is that a little demon face on it, and it looks like a spine and like some kind of flesh. It's a 2-mana 4/3 cruise for 2. When it attacks, sacrifice another artifact or creature to give it +1/+1 counter permanently and menace till end of turn. That is really scary. That is super duper scary. Scary enough that I'm just going to hold on to my Kami's Flare, so when they crew it with their Okiba Reckoner Raid, we'll kill it. And because we have a modified creature, the Iron Apprentice, we'll go ahead and, oh no. I was going to say, we will deal 2 damage to them when we cast Kami's Flare. But now they have Dockside Chef. We had this in our first deck, and it was super massively good. So I'm going to kill that instead of the Soul Ripper, strangely enough, probably. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm actually not going to cast Kami's Flare yet, because I want to see what they want to do with Soul Ripper. Can I respond to them choosing to put a counter on something? Or does the ability resolve and put the counter on just as soon as they choose? Let's see. They probably don't want to sacrifice something here anyway. I think it's one of the abilities that if I wait till this resolves, it's just going to have a counter on if they're going for a counter. I don't think I get to wait and then if they sacrifice something, choose to shoot it. I don't think that's a thing I get to do. Yeah, I don't think it is. I feel like I have to kill this because a 4/3 menace, they're always going to have 2 power on board to crew it. That's just so big. I think I have to just kill that instead of the Dockside Chef, so we couldn't have got our modified damage anyway. There's Explosive Singularity. So play a first striking blocker. It doesn't block the menace creature, but I don't want to play this till I have a modified creature out. Actually, them just, spending removal on our 1/1. That ended up pretty bad for us. Because we would have just slammed down a 3/4 because we would have had a modified creature there, and we would have had a modified creature for Kami's Flare. So a bunch of extra little value missed there. So Dockside Chef's just absolutely nuts. There's a lot of cards that combo insanely well with it. It's particularly good in Rakdos because you have all the expendable creatures. But even in Black-White, I expect this card's going to do a lot of work. So we're still on 3 mana. We can play a 1/1 or we can just play a 2/3. Unfortunately, I think I am at the point where I'm just going to play a 2/3. Because a 1/1 doesn't block their 1/2 at all, so it's not saving us any damage. So we'll just accept that this is a 3 mana 2/3, not a 3 mana 3/4. Alright, Salad, have a good one. And thank you very much for hanging out. Alright, we do hit the mana for Jukai Preserver now. Don't have anything to block the flyer. We're down to 13. Don't love our position, but at least we get to block the menace creature now. I think I am just going to make a big Preserver so we might have some attacks going on. Because it's going to be another game where if we can get them down to 10, then we'll just kill them with Singularity. Probably do what we can to maybe get them in positions where they're like, well, I've got no reason to chump block until I'm down to 10. Because once I'm down to 10, then I need to worry about taking damage. So hopefully they're a player like that where it's like, I don't want to chump block till later. We'll just let you get in for 4 for a while. It's probably not going to happen because they have Dockside Chef, so they can chump block with a 1/1 and draw a card off of it, but maybe. We're only taking 1 damage a turn right now. And I'm not going to put a Rabbit Battery onto my Preserver because then they get to start attacking me with the Menace creature too. And I'm more worried about our life total. Because they start hitting us for 3 a turn, we die a lot faster being at 12. I could rabbits a rabbits, but I need 1 more red to do that. I could do that later. That'd be cool. Might be worth it. Oh no, 4/4 flyer. 4/4 flyer. We're taking 5 next turn. We get to play a vigilance creature thanks to Harmonious Emergence. So I think we're just going for Harmonious Emergence, and then we don't put a rabbit on anything. We're going to have 5 creatures and 4 lands after we Emergence. So if we top deck a basic, we can Singularity. So maybe we just go for it and try to put them to 10. But we can't really. Yeah, we can't really go for it and put them to 10. But we can hit them somewhat hard. Attack with everything that would at least kill the samurai. Because yeah, there's no go for it here. What is go for it? I send in a 2/3 and it dies to the samurai, and I send in 2 rabbits and they die to a 1/2 and a 2/2. Like every attack added onto this is just terrible. It's like these are the 2 attacks. There's no attempting to get them down to 10 immediately, but we can get them down to 13, which means with a vigilance creature, if this hits them next turn, if this hits them and we hit a land, Singularity for lethal. But they played a Death Toucher. Oh my god! That's insane! You may pay 1 when you do destroy target creature with toughness X or less, where X is the number of shrines you control. So during their end step, they can pay 1 to kill one of our rabbit batteries. So we have the mana for Singularity. But that's only if our 4/5 survives. Which it's not going to. Because they're going to block with the Death Toucher. Is there any way we can have Singularity mana and attack with 2 creatures to where 1 gets through Goshintai? No. Well, actually, if we attack with both of these, they block there. This hits for 4, but then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. Yeah, we can't have 10 up if we attack with 2 creatures. So we just attack with the 4/5 and just hope for the best. But I'm pretty sure it's trading into the Death Toucher because they didn't try to kill a rabbit battery. Or that. I mean, that saves them too. Draw a card off of it. Yeah, we're just going to be 3 damage off. I can't tap out for this or I die, because then I can't block the ground troops. I can't afford to modify the batteries onto something, because if I do that, then we don't have the mana for Singularity next turn. We're hoping to get really lucky. Our opponent has to misplay hard. Our opponent has to misplay incredibly hard for us to win now. And get 3 more 2/2s. Just have to go for just super bold lines of just yeah, I'm not going to block anything. Alright, they kill a rabbit battery this time. They didn't kill one last turn, but they'll kill one this time. Fair enough. We do draw the basic for Singularity if we get in. Just no, there's no chance. There's no chance we get in. Yep. Block with Goshintai. So put them to 3, or kill the samurai and die to the 1/1 flyer, or I mean die to all the 2/2s. Well, at least we still got to do the Singularity. Close game. Had to hit them 1 more time. But that is going to be 6-1, the first loss here. I want to do 5-color shrines at some point. So there's that too. And I would heavily enjoy every time I draft any artifact decks. So I guess there's a lot of things I want to do in this limited format. You have no clue what you have, no skyscraper. You have something that costs 3 white, 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 white. That is pretty ridiculous. There's a lot of cards like that in the set. There's one in each color that requires 4 mana of its color, which is crazy. Essence Capture. That's rude, but at least they don't get the +1/+1 counter. Trade our 2 mana cards for each other. Enters the battlefield. Target player mills 3 cards. It's a defender. It can put a card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Okay, so it doesn't do much, but we can't attack in against that. I guess I could kill it with Favor of Jukai, but that's not going to be worth it. Brilliant Restoration is good if you have the setup for it. So that's the quadruple white card. I don't even know what it does. A bunch of Samurai. Samurai Tribal seems pretty cool. Pretty fun thing to do. The Samurai Tribal cares about attacking with like one creature each turn. There's a card that destroys a tapped creature, but that would also just destroy an enchantment. The card that destroys a tapped creature in the set destroys a tapped creature or an artifact or enchantment, so if they have that card, it doesn't matter that we're playing a tapped Harmonious Emergence, because they would just kill it with the enchantment removal anyway. So we'll play a tapped 4/5. Oh, it returns all artifact enchantments from the grave to the battlefield? That's super cool. That's going to be a commander staple in like Esper artifact decks. Really hard to cast though. You're going to need a great mana base. My mana. That was really rude. Well, that's the worst I've been got by that card. That's the biggest downside of that thing. If they have something that exiles a creature specifically, it can exile your land. That is rough. Alright, set up a Season of Renewal, I guess. Pick up our Jukai Preserver. And our Roiling Earth actually would be pretty cool. We could immediately play it next turn, but it's probably better to just get more creatures. Pick up Jukai Preserver and Jukai Trainee, or just get bigger creatures. This is instant speed 2, but if I wait till their end step, they could shut it off by putting one of the cards back into my deck with the 3-mana ability if they don't have anything else to play here. So I think I'm going to play it safe and Season right now for the Preserver as the creature and the Emergence as the enchantment, actually, because that'd be the biggest creatures we can pick up. And if we ever start getting beaten down too hard, then we can always hold up Favor of Jukai to kill their flyer by getting Reach out of nowhere. Another 2/3 run, you're now 2 gem poor to draft more. That's unfortunate, Ryvoke. That's sad. I hope you got a lot of cool stuff for Historic Brawl, at least. A lot of cool stuff for the collection. You have 14 enchantments in this pool. Oh yeah. Enchantments and artifacts all over. Just super cool. Both those themes are cool. I'm more into artifacts than enchantments, obviously, but even enchantments like the Theros stuff was really cool. Oh, you got the 5-color Kami War? That is very cool. Hold up a red mana. So I can move this rabbit battery if I want to post-combat, but I probably don't want to do that. Oh no, if I Harmonious Emergence a red land, because it's now a green creature, it makes it look like it produces green mana. The symbol turns into a green-red symbol. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that at all. Alright. So, we're now like racing our opponent. We're hitting each other just about as hard here. They're gonna gain control of my land? I've changed all of my opinions on Harmonious Emergence. This is the literal worst card I could have in this matchup. Oh, wait, what? Whoa! Enchant land you control. Oh my god! Never mind, it's great. No, I'm kidding. It was still bad. It still ended up bad, because they still killed it. So they basically just use that as removal, and they get a land, and one of my lands is gone. So that's still a really good deal for them, but it's not as insanely good of a deal as I thought. I thought they were going to get a 4/5 Vigilance on their board and our land. That would have been absolutely horrific. But at least it was only bad for us. And that's it. Okay. What are we doing now? What are we doing? Are we just crying? It's possible. There's a lot of crying. Just hold up our instance. Double Careful Cultivation, Favor of Jukai to kill the flyer. Block the flyer, and then they've got no gas. Like, they're not killing us anymore. I guess I'm just holding up instance. Go for expensive plays next turn, because we'll have more mana from these 1/1s. At least one of the 1/1s. Cycle that. We have to do this before we declare blocks, so if they're going to have something to ruin our day, they're going to have it. I think I'd rather target the Rabbit's Battery, because if they have something that puts a card back into our hand, it'd be way worse if they bounce the token. Although, artifact removal can kill the battery and can't kill the monk, so maybe the monk is a safer target. I don't know how much instant speed artifact removal there is versus how much instant speed bounce. Well, let's just find out. It's early enough, it's not going to be that embarrassing if we get tricked here. And that's my #1 concern at all times. No embarrassment, no. I think I'll take the trade here too, just to... Well, no, I'll take one. Mana's pretty good here still. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. +3/+1 trample? Cycle an Ironhoof Boar or whatever? Actually, they're not playing red, they just have our red land. Oh, Covert Technician! Oh no. It's a ninja that lets them bounce the card that lets them draw another card. Yeah, that's a line I would definitely take much differently in the future in this format. I was saying it earlier and I already forgot. Just take the little trades like that a lot more often when your opponent's playing ninjutsu colors like blue or black, just to stop them from doing ninjutsu things. Yeah, that was definitely a misplay. Should have played around ninjutsu, it would not have been super difficult to do that. So we have 5 mana, so we can play... We can play what? We can play the 2/3 and a 1/1, or we can play an Iron Apprentice. And then a 3/4? That's actually pretty nice. We can play Iron Apprentice. Then we can play a 3/4 because we have a modified creature out. And then we can give our 3/4 haste. And they won't block here, so now if we can draw our 10 damage spell, we've got an out. And it's not like they have a flyer, so we actually don't even need an out here. We just need to keep the pressure on, and maybe we can outrace them. They're going to be drawing a lot of cards here, though, so they'll have to draw pretty poorly for us to have a good chance here. But that's Scrytooth to the bottom. So whatever they saw, they didn't want it. Spirited Companion draws them another card. Yeah, we dealt with the flyer. We're not under much pressure. Although, again, our opponent is drawing more cards than us, so they'll have a lot more to play. But if we can just play bigger stuff for now, we can keep the pressure on them, force them to make chump blocks and stuff to keep us kind of at parity in terms of card advantage, instead of way behind like we actually are. Ooh, no. Imperial Recovery Unit's another card that's going to help them a lot in terms of card advantage. When they attack with it, they get to return a creature or vehicle with mana value 2 or less from their grave to hand. I guess they don't have one right now, but as soon as they chump block with Spirited Companion, they can start bouncing the Companion to replay it. So Geothermal Kami doesn't have anything to bounce right now, so I'd rather just play Preserver first, and then maybe bounce Preserver with the Kami to get more counters on stuff. Seems good. We can also give the Preserver haste to attack with a 5/5, but they can double block either with these two, and I only kill one of the 2 cards, which isn't great. They're at 10 life, so we could also just sit here and wait and hope for the 10 damage thing. If our attacks aren't that good. I guess our attacks aren't great. We could kind of just chill for a second. I actually like making Apprentice bigger, so it's just a really good blocker to move the counters around. Well, Heir of the Ancient Fang is already big enough to where the only way they kill it is a double block, and the only double block they can kill it with is these 2. So we can kill the 3/3 or the 2/4 at the cost of our 3/4. It's a trade down a little bit, and our opponent has more cards than us already. They could actually crew the Recovery Unit. Yeah, well, let's actually not. Let's just sit for a moment. I don't think with all these cards in hand, and they're getting a big flyer now, I don't think we can push in enough to kill them. Let's just make sure we have enough creatures out to where our 1 out, the Mythic Rare, is castable. They have 2 copies of that? Double Invoke the Winds? Oh no. Invoke the Wind seems like one of the strongest cards in the set. Just Mind Control. A removal spell and a bomb all in one, because you're taking your opponent's best card. So you're removing it, and you're casting it for yourself, basically. That's awful. That's super bad. 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. We only have 7 mana towards the 10 mana game ender now as well, and we're taking 4 in the sky next turn, so we have to block here, or we'll die in the sky. I guess we do double block then, lose our Jukai Preserver, get our rabbit back. Kappa Tech Wrecker. I don't think there's any chance that we can get a creature in unblocked, but if we could, this would be a great way to get rid of the vision. We don't have any combat tricks. They're down to 10. Yeah, we're just not getting in unblocked here. So I think I just play this for a Death Touch blocker and then cycle the cultivation. Just have as many creatures out as possible. Yeah, sure. Actually, cultivation does give reach. A reach Death Touch blocker. Alright. Reach Death Touch blocker, please don't kill it. And that buys us some time. Potentially. Yeah, 2/6 Death Touch is really hard to attack into. 2/6 Reach Death Touch, even worse. If they draw another card, though, the vision will be a 6/6. That would be a trade. Could even put our battery on the tech record to make sure the vision is still not big enough to send in. Then it's a 3/7 Death Toucher. Mirror Cell Crab. So here's this giant enemy crab. There's a Mech Titan 2, and it's just Power Rangers. Combine 5 vehicles into one big mech. That's hilarious. That's really cool. Okay, so Geothermal Kami will have 3 mana up afterwards. So we could pick up the aura and recast it if we want to just gain 3 life. Actually, no, we only have 2 mana up after this. I am wrong. I am bad at math, so I think we just play this and don't pick any enchantments up. Nor do we put a battery on anything. I guess we could put a battery on something, because we have 5 mana from our lands, and we currently have 6 mana from our creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6 from this one, towards the 10 mana Convoke Burn spell. So we could get rid of Rabbit Battery if we want to give something +1/+1. But I don't think it's necessary. So I'm just not going to, just to be safe. That'll keep our creature count high even if they can exile our aura or something like that. Their network terminal is really going off here. Letting them draw discard here now that they're in the late game, and it helped them cast a big old crab and stuff. But 2/6 Reach Death Toucher, that's going off too. Oh no. Don't read that, don't read that, don't do that. That's really mean. We're not dead immediately, so we still have the 1 turn. We have the 1 turn to draw that spell. Because we can tap the tech wrecker for 2, so we can chump block the crab and still have 10 mana. What do I chump block with, though? Don't think it really matters. I guess I'll just do it with the apprentice for value. I don't think I do it with the battery. Okay, top deck mythic rare. One more time. Seal the deal. Another rabbit battery. They did play cards in hand, so they don't have that much damage coming to us with the vision. I don't think that we can survive and still hold 10 mana up here, but I guess it depends on how they attack. So maybe we have one more shot, but probably not. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can chump block 1 time again. We do have a 6/5 blocker, so maybe they'll just attack with the crab. If they attack with only the crab, just the crab and the vision, then we get one more chance, one more draw. Poor Leonardo. He's been arrested by the authorities. Oh no, Imperial Recovery units coming in too. Oh, yeah, that's it. We have 4 blockers. I guess if we have literally any way to survive here and only lose 1 creature, then we're okay, but I don't think we do. Right, because we have to lose a creature there, and then we block there. That's the most damage we can stop only blocking with 2 creatures. We take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well over lethal. So our 1 out is no longer an out. We take... Oh, we actually take 5. We just can't not die, period. Alright, that's game. Exactsies. It's one of those games that makes you wish that Arena had the ability like Magic Online does, where you can draw another card off the top of your deck when the game's over to be like, where is it? Come on. Where's the Mythic? Just how long did I have to last? Could I have done it? Potentially. Pretty great curve. Turn 2 Trainee, turn 3 Goshintai, and then we have these on turn 4 and turn 5. Just play 2 4/5s. Our turn 5 is going to be insane. On turn 5, if they don't have any removal, on turn 5 we're attacking with 2 4/5s with Vigilance. It's going to be really mean. Our opponent's on the play though, so not the most wild curve in the universe, although we just drew a 1-drop, so we might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on them. If we hit lands here, it's going to be the dumbest thing in the world. So whenever one of their samurais or warriors attacks alone, it gets +1/+1. Alright. So it attacks as a 3/2, so our trainee won't block it well. Playing the trainee pre-combat, so if they do take the trade there, we get a counter. Highly doubt they were going to take the trade, but just in case. Touch the Spirit Realm. I'm going to remove our 2/2. That is very fine with me, because now this removal is out of the way. They can't use it on our land. And using that kind of removal on our land is really disastrous for us. So super happy that's gone. Four mana now from our opponent. Goshintai makes sure they don't have good attacks. Are they going to get rid of it? They're reading it. Moonfolk Puzzlemaker. Alright, just play a flyer that's going to be an annoying blocker. But not much more than that. We can make a 5/5 first strike here if we want, instead of playing an Emergence. Bound to draw removal from our opponent. I think I am more interested in just playing an Emergence here. Just have a 4/5 Vigilance out for now. And then see if that draws removal, and then if it does, then we can make a 5/5 whatever. Alright, so again, I don't feel like I get blown out by the thing that destroys the tapped creature, because they could have just destroyed the aura instead, destroy the enchantment. So it works either way. But that is a really good deal, because they have an artifact and an enchantment out, so they get the 2/2 out of it too. We can fade into Antiquity on the Touch the Spirit Realm to get back our 2/2, but we should probably do it on the Reality Chip, because if they attach this to a creature, they can just start casting their whole deck. All of a sudden they draw like a million cards, because they just play everything off the top of their library, lands and spells. The card is really, really good if they reconfigure it. So I feel like I'm going to fade that into Antiquity. Do I do it right now? Let's wait here. Maybe we can get a Favor of Jukai to do some stuff. Probably can't. Alright, we're just hitting for 2. Then we will go ahead and fade that. I think it's their biggest threat. And we have the mana up to shoot them for damage here still. Which is pretty nice. Always nice to have the extra mana floating around to play around with that ability. So they have 2 cards in their hand. We have 3. They've got a better board state overall. Feeling okay here. Feels pretty even. Could go either way. So they scry a card to the top with the Puzzle Maker. So Puzzle Maker is definitely going off. Doing good stuff. Ooh, Noriki Yamazaki. Can let them cast enchantments from their grave if they attack alone. Currently there are no enchantments in their grave though, so that's fine. I don't think it's worth throwing removal at. Let's attack in with Goshintai again, I think. Although this is holding off all the ground troops, which might be important. And we could use Favor to kill the flyer if they attack in with that. Yeah, maybe we hold up Rebuke plus Favor here. But it's going to look real suspicious because we're not going to tap Goshintai mana. Let's just be suspicious. It's the opposite of the Parks and Rec song. Be suspicious. Be suspicious. Alright. Is it gonna matter that we were super sus? No, we get the kill. Nice. Super nice. And they play another one. Let's get the second kill, because that card's annoying me. Alright. And we draw the mana for Emergence. Beautiful. They have to double block it to kill it, and it's got enough power to kill 2 of their creatures if they do. Harmonious Emergence putting in work. They are down to 9 now. I am not going to tap our 4/5 to hit them for 1 more damage. It's a pretty important blocker on this board state. They still don't have an enchantment in their grave for Yamazaki's ability, which is good for us. But they can use the Exemplar's ability pretty well. So if they attack with one of these by itself, it'll get +1/+1. But the 4/5 still holds that off, which is excellent. Send on in again. They can double block Goshintai to kill it with either any of their 2 creatures if they want. They're going to double block the land, though, to kill that. Fair enough. Alright, now we play Geothermal Kami, just as a 4/3, do 1 damage with Goshintai. They're pretty low on life, and this ability is going to keep hitting them for 1 a turn, even if they get blockers. Now I am feeling pretty good. Ooh. The Fall of Lord Konda. Exile a creature's power 4 or greater. Then this will be a 1/3 defender, and they can draw a card during their turn. I'm just not going to block here, so I can attack them back well. Explosive Singularity again, but we're definitely not going to have the mana for it this game. Just attack for 4. And I'd rather play a 1/1 than give a +1/+3 here, I think, to spread the board out. So if we hit them with any 2 creatures, they die. Actually, if we hit them with any 1 creature, they die if they can't kill Goshintai. Oh, there's their own Goshintai. Goshintai of Lost Wisdom. Alright. Well, if they only hold 1 blocker back, we do kill them with a surprise 2-mana 1/1 flash. So the fact that this is an instant speed 1/1 elf could matter. Or 1/1 elf, 1/1 monk. And actually we do still kill them because of Goshintai's ability. Keep forgetting about that. Oh, and Season of Renewal. If something goes wrong here, Season of Renewal is just nuts. Tamio's Completion. Something does go wrong here, so we don't have lethal anymore. Just hit them for 1. Oh, it loses its abilities? It loses the ability. Can attack both to trade up into the Exemplar. That's still good. They're kind of forced to block both here. Alright. Now, Season of Renewal. Oh, we don't have any creatures in our grave, though. What is in our grave? Harmonious Emergence? Yeah, we're going to pick up a Harmonious Emergence. For next turn. Got a 4/5 haste coming down. Restoration of Ijongo. They get a Plains. Next turn, discard a card. Return a permanent with mana value 2 or less from their grave to the battlefield tapped. Oh no. That's a huge stabilizer. It's an absolutely massive stabilizer from our opponent. This game, once again, could really go either way. They're forced into a chump here at least, but they draw a card off the chump. But now they bring something back from grave. Bring their 2/1 back. At least it enters tapped, that's good. A lifelinker from our opponent, so we're hoping for 10 mana before they mill us out. We have 21 cards, they're not going to mill us out. So we just need to get 10 mana before they establish their own threat. And how big is this as a threat? A 3/4 Vigilance when it attacks or blocks create a 1/1? Pretty big threat. Pretty big threat, I would say. Alright, so block with the lifelinker to go up to 4. We have 6, 7, 8 mana. We need 2 more creatures or lands to Explosive Singularity them. They are doing a massive amount of work to stabilize. Sudoku, a quick 0-3 for you? That's unfortunate. Sorry about that, Sudoku. At least you got some cool samurai, hopefully, to play around with. 1 land off from Singularity now. Yep. It's saying that I can use it, but it's because it gets confused whenever you have a creature that can tap for a mana with this card. It's going to say I can use it, then it's going to realize I only have 9. So if I top deck a land next turn, I guess we still get there, but Our opponent is getting closer and closer to having a chance to stabilize. So this still has its mana ability, so we're still lethal if we draw basic. But now we need to draw one really fast, because if we don't, they are going to start killing us. They'll kill us the turn after this. Roiling Earth doesn't do it for us. It's another creature, but it just turns a land into a creature, so it doesn't actually give us another Singularity mana. So an 8. I guess we make a 6/6 out of nowhere and then block the Architect. Still good. And then we just start attacking with a 6/6. Yeah, it's still good. It's still a good draw. But it's not immediate lethal, which is pretty big. It's a pretty big deal that it isn't. Come on. This is the last game. Let's go for the best. Or hope for the best here. Alright, we know they can't counter this, but they could have removal for it. 4, 5, 7, 8, so 6. Oh no, we can only do 5 because we need this to be untapped. Awesome. That worked really well. Just a flash XX land is so good. This card's ridiculous, Roiling Earth, or Roaring Earth. I always think roiling, because a lot of the landfall cards were called roiling something. They milled the land, but we drew another. 1 mana up. It should not be a counterspell for 1. And there we go. Explosive Singularity. Again, I'm pretty sure that won us half of our games. And it'll grab another one for us after our opponent got real close to a big stabilization there. Yeah, we're down to 7. They have a flyer to start hitting us with. We attack with the 5/5, but they chump with that, then they chump with that. They had a real good chance of killing us without the explosive finish. Yeah, the explosive Singularity. So yeah, an explosive finish to the draft. Very true, chat. 7 and 2. I have trophied both of the 2 Kamigawa drafts I've done so far. That was a fun one. I was not sure how it was going to do. When we first drafted this deck, a lot of the cards looked pretty awkward. Most of the games, I really liked everything we had in this deck. Harmonious Emergence was a card I was super unsure of at first, but after playing with it, I'm a really big fan of this, except against white decks that have exile-based removal. Because if they exile your land, then you're really sad about it. But if your opponent tries to destroy your land, then they just destroy the aura and you still have your mana. So yeah, against exile removal, it's not great. Oh, nice, Sudoku. Yeah, slam that pick 1, pack 1 Tezzera. Go for some nice artifact decks. Anyways, other than that, Favor of Jukai was another card I wasn't sure about. I don't think I cast this as the aura a single time, but just as the combat trick, that card went off. Season of Renewal was fantastic. It didn't pick up 2 cards every time, but it picked up 2 cards enough of the time that it was great. The fact that it's instant speed 2 is awesome. Didn't really get to do as much with Kappa Tech Wrecker as I thought we would. But overall, just a lot of solid cards together. No super synergies or anything, but just red-green beats. Pretty classic limited stuff, so that is going to end that draft. Well, that is going to end today's draft. As always, if you enjoy these videos and you'd like to see more, just stick around on our channel. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like the YouTube algorithm to send more your way. You can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below if you want to catch drafts like these live. But that's pretty much it. As always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.